Time now to Ask the Expert, here to answer your questions live on air about booking flights. Travel agent Susan Green. All right, our first one, Kathy from Surprise says, what's the outlook for summer trips both domestically and internationally?
Well, it all depends on where you're going. So if you avoid Europe right now, you're going to probably there are still deals to be had.
Okay.
Europe is really difficult. We have to remind people daily. There's the Olympics, the Paralympics, the Tour de France. There's a lot of things going on. Domestically, there are still some deals. It's typically what it's always been every single year.
Okay, I'm thinking summer, we're about pretty much a month out. Is
Yeah.
it still too late to book summer travel?
No, people can still book there. I mean, they got to
Yeah.
understand that when you wait, it's always a supply and demand thing. So if the hotels or the places that you want to go are full, the rates go up.
Got it.
So if we find places that either are not as appealing to maybe the massive crowd, like a San Diego place,
Yeah.
we're all going there, right? But if we're going to go pick a little off the beaten path, it might be a little bit open.
Yeah.
But, or being flexible about the dates. Maybe you want to go on a Tuesday instead of going on a Saturday because, hey, your schedule is that way and you go for a couple less days.
Okay, play with that. All
Yeah.
right. Gail says, I keep hearing airlines are reducing the number of flights. Will that make them more expensive?
Well, this goes back to almost what I just said. So yes, that is part of the problem. We still are not back to the same amount, they call it lift, the same amount of lift that we had prior to COVID, and I don't think we're ever going to get back to that.
Yeah.
So what happens is supply and demand. Now, that's what they tell us. We have to make that decision. But you got to go with, okay, if there's not as many flights that are flying right now to New York City, and they have less amount of bodies getting on there, they're going to ask more money for them. There's usually about 20 to 25 different fares on every single airline out there.
Wow.
It's incredible to try to figure it out.
Yeah, no
So yeah, so they are becoming more and more expensive. I don't see that going down.
Okay. All right. Irene says, I heard about new airline rules that mandate refunds. How does that work? That's a good one.
Yeah, so that we are waiting for the official word to come out just because we've been asked this. But what they're telling us right now is that when you are sitting at the airport and your flight gets canceled for longer than 3 hours and you're going to have to wait, you're going to get a refund. What amount of that refund? We haven't been told yet.
Okay. But isn't it cash?
It's going to be cash.
Yes.
it's not going to be
credit
it's not a credit towards
Okay.
another flight.
Yeah.
It's also baggage, which is another thing. So when baggage is lost,
Okay.
what is that going to be? It's not also going to be a credit for the airline. It's going to be cash. But we want to see what those hours are and stuff like that so that we can inform you guys, but we have to see it in writing. And so it came out from the government and then now they have to implement it to the airlines. Airlines have to come back to us.
Okay, good to know. Bob from Phoenix says, what's the best way to get the best deal? Is it better to book through a third-party website or directly on the airline website? That's a good question too.
It is a
Someone
good
did
question.
that.
So I search a lot through these third parties, but I always book direct. And this is why. Again, it goes back to what I said earlier. If you're just getting on a flight today and you know you're going, not a problem.
Okay.
But when you have an issue and you have to change something,
Yes.
now you got to work with a third party company. There's either fees or something else. You just don't know what's going on. When you're working directly with that airline, they are much happier to, hey, I'm going to waive that, or hey, you got an issue, or you got to go on another airline. It becomes a much easier way to deal with things. It's always when you change.
Yeah, whether it's the airline or the hotel directly or
Correct.
what have you. So it sounds like a little bit more work, but at least you can resolve the problem easier.
It is. And that's what we always try to do is we work directly with those places too. And so we just tell people, but I do my research also.
Yeah.
And so I'm always like, hey, what is the difference? And sometimes they won't tell you, hey, that's a basic economy airfare. That's why it's less. Or you're flying overnight and you didn't know you had 2 connections. Well, who wants to fly 2 connections?
Yeah, no kidding.
Not me. Maybe
right.
when you're 12.
Yeah, exactly. No, not at this age. Susan, you were wonderful.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
so much
you.
for answering all those great questions.
You got it.